My studies is a sign of depression. Two scenarios: postpartum rage and mothers being super angry. This is all the past trauma.
Learn so much about pregnancy, but then postpartum is just silence.
It's not just like, oh, you had a miscarriage and your body still go through postpartum.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pregnancy as Critical Thinker podcast. My name is Caroline. I'm a long-time postural massage therapist with a focus in prenatal and postnatal care. And I started this podcast as a way for my clients and hopefully myself in the future to learn more about the ways we can support ourselves through pregnancy and postpartum recovery. So I encourage you to listen to make your conclusions and to find what works best for you. But today I have an amazing guest for you. We're going to talk about insanely important subject, which is not actually well covered. It's postpartum. And today we're joined by lovely Chloe, who's a mom of four. Five. I asked her before we started how many kids. You see, there are too many. Five beautiful children. And she's a postpartum doula with a focus in sophrology. We're going to learn what that is.
And Ayurveda.
And Ayurveda, that's right. And welcome, Chloe.
Thank you. Thank you so
How are you
much.
feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Feeling very grateful to be here with you and talking about something that's very close to my heart.
Yeah, I mean, since we established that you have quite an experience in being pregnant yourself and helping your clients, tell us a little bit how you even came into postpartum doula, what that is, how your work with your clients look like a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So my story was, it's like I'm a former psychologist, so I was always very intrigued by the health of the mother and baby. So this is how I started. And then I became pregnant with my first.
How old is your first now?
Is 11.
11, yes.
So it was quite a bit, while ago. And I was kind of trusting at the time more of the Western way of doing things. And I had a hospital birth and a terrible experience.
It was already, you are from France originally,
Yes,
but it was already in the States, right?
No,
it was in France.
It was in France, yeah.
Okay.
And, and very not so great postpartum either. I went through so many things and trauma from my birth, and I was left alone on my postpartum. I had some good colleagues at the time that I could talk to, but I didn't really know enough on, in postpartum, what do you do? Like, how do you recover?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like starting my journey of learning, how to heal trauma, because I had to heal my own trauma, and also how to heal yourself, mind, body, spirit in your postpartum, because you go through so many transformations during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. And actually during pregnancy, we have a lot of physical changes, right? We see it. We see our body growing. Everything is growing, and so we see those changes. But what we don't see is all of our psychological changes, because also this it truly have a transformation. So you see, you have your conscience. Sorry, it was my accent.
Oh, I like it. It's a good, nice little French accent.
Conscience, subconscious, and unconscious. And you have a censorship between the unconscious and the subconscious. So that, that's why we don't have access of everything happened to us. And this is where we start trauma or like shameful memories.
Yeah.
But sometimes, it can come here and there, right?
The triggers you didn't know you have. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what's happening during pregnancy is like this censorship is thinner. So you have more access to it. And yes, this is very incredible. And so it comes like, for example, you hear stories of mamas having more raw dreams. Like they have like crazy things happening, or more nightmares, or like things, it's very raw. And also it comes with smelling memories, or like sometimes we say, oh, it's also more emotional. No, it's not that. It's because of what's happening within ourselves.
That's so, I never heard that before. That's fascinating.
It is very fascinating. And so really pregnancy, it's a time of deep healing psychologically. Okay. Yeah.
If you approach it correctly, probably.
Exactly. Yes. And that's why I love sophrology, because...
Tell me what that is. Is that has like a definition? Because we keep throwing that word around. Yeah, like Anya, lovely midwife who pretty much introduced us, she's always like, oh, she knows sophrology. I'm like, what is that? She's like, she's going to tell you. I'm like, okay. So what is that?
So sophrology was actually created by a neuropsychiatrist who was, it was in the 60s, so it's been long ago. It was in Europe, in France. He's a Colombian, but he was in Spain at the time. Okay. And he was working with patients, and they were doing like inducing not trauma, that's funny I said that, inducing coma to patients, which concluded trauma for them, but like inducing trauma, a coma. Oh gosh. And then also like electroshock, this is like, and then he went to a deep thought of why do we need to shake the consciousness of someone to heal that person. And it was, again, the Western way was healing the patients at the time. And so what he did is he started a big journey of understanding the consciousness, what means the conscience, what is it? And so he went in Europe, he studied the unconscious, or the phenomenology, but it was still not enough. So he traveled to the East, because we know with their wisdom how they understand consciousness. Like he studied and observed monks who can meditate for days, right, without doing anything. And so yoga and the Zen. And so with all of this, he put kind of a method together that is called sophrology, and this is bringing harmony to your consciousness. So you become more conscious of who you are, and you bring mind-body. When you talk about mind-body connections, this is you're in deep mind-body connections. Wow. And every aspect of your body, you know exactly what it is and how you feel. So you can heal traumas. You can. For someone with stress, or so at first it was more like for people with more, psychology disorders. I don't like really talking like that, but like, with depression or stress, and then it kind of evolved to more of a
just like a preventative modality.
Exactly, and they saw like how powerful it is, and even for athletes, they get ready for their competitions, with sophrology, because we know it's not about the physical only, right? Because we can be all at the same level. What makes the difference? It's your mind, 100%. Your mental. So you need to work through things, and you need to also realign yourself, because we live in a society that we are very disconnected overall. And also it works for pregnant mamas and to prepare for birth, and mamas who practice sophrology during pregnancy have easier and how can I say, like easier connection with their womb. So they connect with their baby way before birth happen. And so that means that it kind of prevents postpartum depression. Wow. Because you're already connected with your baby.
So you're kind of like bonding with your mind or mind-body connection?
Exactly, because your baby always talks to you during pregnancy. You have, the intuition. We talk about the intuition of the mom. But it's the baby talking to you. It's, through that you understand. It's very profound.
I have like goosebumps. I love. Wow. Yeah. That is very cool.
And so, I'm a mother of 5, and I evolved a lot, and I could see like how transformative it was for me, but also for other mamas that I honor and support during such beautiful time. But it can be challenging too. We know it's not easy, and we hear some stories of mamas during pregnancy saying, "Oh, I hate pregnancy," or, it makes me feel bad. And this is because of all of our psychological happening.
Like all the fears are rushing in and
and the traumas from before. And so if we don't have a way to process it, then it's here and it doesn't go away. It won't go away. And then the disconnection between mama and baby start right then because of the fears that come in the way, or your past traumas, or so sophrology doesn't only prepare you for birth, but it really heal yourself during pregnancy, and so you have a very more beautiful birth, that you are connected with your baby. You can really feel things, and because we know that the mother is the one with all the knowledge, and she can really be in tune with her intuition, her womb, her baby during birth. And so the journey of welcoming your baby is so much smoother, and you won't have disconnection happening right away.
And probably see labor as like a huge trauma as well, right? Because you're like, we're doing it together. There's synergy.
And also birth, it kind of represents a separation between the mother and the baby. Okay. You have the physical separation, right? But like any separation, it's also psychological. We go through a separation. Once the placenta is out, then baby and us, like mothers, we are like two different people. We are not one anymore. We were once upon a time one together. And then, so this is normal to kind of go, through a little, emotional baby blues at the beginning. Like,
just because of that separation.
Yeah, exactly. Like any separation. But that's why it's very important to kind of, but to truly work during your pregnancy, your mental and your psychological, because it will help that during this separation, it doesn't turn to a, depression then. Or you hear about postpartum rage and mothers being super angry, or like cannot, the triggers of the baby crying. And this is all the past traumas that, come to the mothers, and they were not able to process it before.
So postpartum depression can happen in two scenarios. If you were bonding with your baby during pregnancy, but then you had to go for separation, you can't handle it because maybe in the past you had a really bad experience of separation with someone, right? Grief or whatever it could be. And then the second scenario, if you didn't bond with baby enough, you feel like labor was traumatic, and then you kind of just don't like the baby because it caused you so much pain.
Yeah, it can be this. It's not like you don't really, it's never conscious. Like the mother is not like, I don't like my baby. It's
of
like,
course,
it's like, like it's very little things, and the mother cannot even point fingers on what's happening. And the postpartum recovery and healing is so deep. Like, you hear kind of the Western, like the 5-5-5. I don't know if you heard about this.
Heard about it recently, actually. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. Well, this is not.
No, not working.
No, this is not.
I wanted to make a reel about it, so that's good that you said it. I'm not gonna. So wait, tell me. So why it doesn't?
Yeah, because there is so much more to the healing of a mother. 5-5-5. It's for people who don't know, it's like 5 days in bed, 5 days on the bed, and 5 days
near
around
the
the
bed.
bed. Yeah. And to be honest, it's not like, it takes 6 weeks for a mother to fully heal and rejuvenate. And it takes 8 weeks for a mother who had a C-section to fully heal and rejuvenate. And according to Ayurveda, which is a wisdom from India, that those first 6 weeks is considered sacred. And why is it sacred? Because the mother either takes the path of rejuvenation or depletion. You don't have a middle lane. And so if you don't take care, and if you don't care the proper way of this mother, then she will deplete. You hear stories of mastitis, of hair loss being like a norm of our society. Oh yes, mother is 3 months postpartum. Oh, she's having hair loss. It's kind of like you see I always see in social media, and it's kind of like make me Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot about like beauty. Like you're supposed to go back to normal. Like you have a tummy, you have a hair loss. It's so horrible.
Yes, but to be honest, it's like hair loss. It should not be a norm. And you know what? If you truly take the proper step, you don't lose your hair. Like I'm 4 months postpartum with my fifth
luscious
baby.
Hair. Yeah.
And I don't lose my hair. Like, I feel better than ever.
Do you think it's from stress?
No. It's because they didn't follow the right protocol during postpartum.
Oh, because regeneration didn't go as well as it should have been.
Because actually, like I said, it takes 6 weeks for a mother to heal, like for her uterus to go back to its proper place. So it's like physically it takes, that time.
Yeah.
And usually around 3 weeks, you can feel like mothers, they're kind of ready to go back to life or like to, well, this is okay, right? It's just to kind of like go back outside or do things.
Socialize and stuff.
But the problem is if you do this, then you don't allow your body to go through this deep healing that is happening at that point. That can rejuvenate all your cells. So like it can change old cells into new cells. And I can stop the aging process of the mother.
That's
so this is a gift that we truly have that men don't have. It's like really we can become this brand new person that we've never been before. Like we can feel better than ever. And when every time you hear postpartum, it feels like, like mother don't really want to go through postpartum because it's such a, you feel exhausted, you have mastitis. And guess what? Mastitis is a sign of depletion. So if a mother is rejuvenated, she will never have mastitis. If a mother is rejuvenated, she will never lose her hair. She will never have depression, rage, anxiety. She will...
That's crazy.
Yes. She will not have digestive system or disconnection with her baby. She will have the proper milk supply. It's very...
That's
very profound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even mastitis? I thought that's purely mechanical.
Nope. No, it's
interesting.
It happens because it's a sign of depletion. So it happens because the mother didn't have the right diet, didn't have the right self-care, didn't rest enough. But if you follow this protocol during the first 6 weeks, then you won't have it. I had my studies for all my postpartum, that when I didn't follow the right, even if I thought I was eating healthy, even if I thought I was eating nourishing meals, even if I thought I was resting enough.
You then realize you didn't?
No, not at the time. Each and every time, like it was kind of like a process of going deeper into understanding the way of taking care of my body, but I didn't understood the profound of how exactly I needed to take care of my body until like 2 years ago, and where I really went deeper and I saw so many mothers transforming when I care for them using the Ayurvedic practice and wisdom, and also I could really feel it myself as a postpartum mother of 5, and I can tell you I've never felt that amazing in my life after 5, but now that I have 5 kids, I feel the best because I went through rejuvenation, and I've never done that before.
So you only have done like the way you do protocol now with your son who's born 4 months ago, you said? Yeah. So, and before that you kind of did it as well, but not as deep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I rested, but I didn't rest it enough. I didn't do the self-care I needed to do because it's more than just the diet. Diet is crucial, and you need to have the proper food.
I did want to ask you about it. So Ayurvedic diet, it's no meat, right? It's vegetables, very warm spices. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then I wanted to ask you, so if you, for example, I eat meat, maybe like once a week, red meat, would it be okay for my body to switch for postpartum to not eat meat, or is that going to be too much of a shift?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, especially here in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like brisket. Give me right now.
I care a lot with mamas who really love meat. So, but I go over it. I go over it during prenatal. I do prenatals with them so that they need to understand the true depth of what's happening in their body during that time, so that they understand why I'm not going to, cook meat for her.
Okay.
And why meat is degenerative at that time, and it's not helping your body to heal and rejuvenate. We have other way to have you consume proteins than meat.
But you don't need like animal protein
dairy,
for milk production stuff?
We use a lot of dairy.
So so there are animal products.
Yes, it's not vegan.
Okay.
It's not
I thought
vegan.
it's vegan for some reason.
We use a lot of ghee.
Okay.
We use a lot of milk, Ayurvedic drink that are milk, and it's the best.
With the turmeric?
It's nourishing. Yeah, a lot of spices.
Nice. That actually sounds tasty. I love like chai.
Yes.
The Indian chai, so good.
So like, it's, you have healing spices that you need to use in your food. You have foods that you need to avoid and food you need to favor during that time. You have, it follows like kind of a 4-step process.
Okay.
So you have the first where it's like cleansing you, and have you heard about mothers talking about, the first poop, being scared of it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's because if they were eating the first dish right away with
like a takeout.
that makes like the first, really like with all the spices that would kick in your digestive fires, they won't have any issues. Like all the mothers that I care at postpartum, they never have any issues
because
going
it's
to
like
the bathroom.
smooth and
because
doesn't irritate
because all your blood flow during labor and birth go to your uterus, and so you don't have anything in your obviously you have some, but you don't have as much as you need in your digestive system. So it's very slow, so you need to kickstart your digestive. And actually have you heard about our guts is our second brain? Have you heard of it?
Yes. Oh my God, I'm actually big. Like, I used to be like such a kick on like, during pandemic, I read all the books on it. Yeah, okay. It's fascinating.
So you see, if you don't take care of your guts, then how can a mother feel happy too if you don't provide the proper nutrition? So we start by kicking, also cleanse from labor and kicking your digestive fire. And then the second step is helping with the milk production and still continuing to work on your digestive fire because it's still weak. So we need to make sure it's strong enough that then at that point you can start with the process of rejuvenation. But first it has to start with your gut and with your digestive system.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said there's steps. So it's it's a 6 weeks program, right? Usually your protocol.
It's
6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks.
And like each week differs.
It doesn't go through weeks. It's more like depending of the days. Like the first the cleanse and the digestive, kicking the digestive fire start. It's like within the day 1 to 3, and then
depending on how you react to
exactly. Like every mothers are different, but like this is kind of the average. And then you can go to the next step where you start to bring a little more food. No more like
solids.
Yeah, some like more vegetables, I would say. Okay. And you adapt to every mothers. I had mothers where they were more sensitive to things, so I had to adapt to them. But yeah, this is, and actually for my postpartum, I created this guide protocol for my husband to follow because he was my Ayurvedic doula during my 6 weeks.
Oh, so you like wrote down for him like what he should cook?
I created like the full 6 weeks.
Cool.
Yes, so like, and everything went.
Did he do it with you, or that's not beneficial for him, right? To switch to such strong protocol.
He could. I mean, this is, and to be honest, it's so nourishing, and you feel so good that I still continue to eat this way. And I have so many mamas that, oh, I love it so much that I still actually eat like that, you know?
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
And of course, after the 6 weeks, you can transition to other type of food or diet, but you need to go slow because you cannot just like, oh, the next day, pizza or burger.
Yeah,
you know, you need to go slow for getting your body used to, and your baby too, because what you eat is also for your baby. And so you need to make sure your baby is okay with it. So yeah, so the diet is crucial, but there is more to the healing. If you just do the diet, it won't be enough for you to truly heal yourself, and you won't go through rejuvenation. So yeah,
what does rejuvenation depend on besides like reset for the GI?
Yeah, so it has like 4 pillars. So it's a rest. Okay. So like to allow your body to really know how to rest, and not just the 5-5-5, but like it's deeper than that. And then you have the diet that I talk about, and using the proper spices and herbs, but also you have the self-care, the Abhyanga, so it's the oil therapy that you apply on your body. So you have a way of applying oil, warm healing oil. So usually the oil is like with herbs in it, that is very warming, because during this time you need to bring warmth to your body.
Yeah.
And I will talk a little more about it, why we need to do that. And then so herbal bath and body binding, all those things are as crucial. And then the last is the mind-body connection. And I use sophrology during that time to bring mama back to themselves, because we always say, oh, mama travel to the sun back to bring her baby earth side, you know.
Oh, I like that. That actually sounds so magical. Yeah, like a superpower. Just travel somewhere, brought the baby.
Because, you know, you are this like transformative woman during such a, you know, crazy event, which is birth. And so you need to go back to your body. And so it takes time, and that's why I love using sophrology, because it's a synergy with Ayurveda. And so you bring back, because mental is as important as physical. Yeah, the 100%. Health of the mental. And so this is the 4 pillars that every mama should follow, and should be honored that way, so that they can truly rejuvenate, and don't have to deal with my status or hair loss, or, you know. Wow. I'm very passionate about that. Yeah.
Wait, so sophrology, what kind of methodics does it use? Is it like meditation?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's gentle movement, with breathing exercises, and meditation and visualization. So you bring deep. It's not just meditation. Like, you know, it's bringing so much deep connection. And I love like doing sophrology at the same time I give an Abhyanga, because Abhyanga is like reconnecting yourself with your body. And so if you do the mental process just before, it's so powerful. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I don't know about Abhyanga, but I definitely noticed I have quite a disconnect with my body, and we're trying to reestablish it. So I do self-massage and kind of just like trying to like love, you know, like, oh, good. Like I love you, like everything's good. So I feel like it's very important, especially such a vulnerable time for a woman is like postpartum. So it's amazing that you use that and teach your clients how to do it. It's definitely powerful. I need to learn about it and definitely prep myself to do sophrology when I give birth. But tell me, we wanted to come back to, because I know about Asian medicine, Chinese medicine, they also believe that you're supposed to warm your body after postpartum, because they believe that wind gets in your body and you have to like close everything pretty much. And that's why they do a lot of like ginger baths and don't take showers in the first couple of weeks. So tell me, from your standpoint, what do you do to warm up the body?
Yes. So in the Ayurvedic wisdom, we so it says that, do you know the doshas of Ayurveda? Okay. Yeah. So there is,
I don't remember mine, but I do remember, taking a test for one.
So it's kind of like your fingerprint, and this is your composition of who you are. And there is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So those are the 3 doshas. However, when we are not feeling good in any, instance, like anytime, it's because we're unbalanced with our doshas. So like we have either too much pila or kapha, it's just depending on, we're not anymore aligned with our doshas. However, after birth, every mother's, no matter what their composition, they will have an imbalance with excess of vata, because vata is excess of air and space.
Okay.
And that makes sense. Our womb is filled with air and space because baby is gone, and now we have an empty womb because, it doesn't shrink like that. And so how do we do? So vata is cold, dry, rough, and movement. So we need all the opposite to pacify this vata. And actually, when you have an excess of vata, this is also when you see depression happening. This is when you see all the kind of postpartum symptoms, we can say, happening. So this is very important to pacify vata. And we pacify with a diet. We pacify with the self-care that I talked about, with a rest, with a warmth bottle on our womb, on our neck, with body binding. I always give womb massage and body binding to my mamas, and they always say, "Oh, I feel so healing and hug." You feel hugged, and this is very
a lot of my postpartum girls, they love like the Malaysian. I don't know if it's similar.
Yeah, do the different one.
Yeah.
This is very important to body bind, and also to do herbal bath. So we don't advise showers because of the soap. Actually, you have special smells after birth, especially under your arm. Moms can feel like, oh, I stink, because it's like a very strong
for
odor.
the baby to crawl.
Exactly, because baby doesn't see, but it smells and it knows, because this is the closest to your nipple, to your breast.
Yeah.
So if you go to a shower and you use soap, then you are going to disconnect with your baby and disconnect with his instinct of knowing your smell, because it will just smell soap. That's why you take herbal bath, and this is healing, and this is everything you need, and this is the warmth, the warmth you bring to your body. And you have some mothers, they can have hot flashes and things like that. So this is when I always check in with the mamas, and we worked on kind of bring a little cooling.
Balance out the heat a little bit.
Yes, exactly. And this is what happened to my postpartum too. I had some pila too. So like, how can I pacify this vata without having too much excess of pila? Because if you bring too much warmth, then you will have those hot flashes, and then it won't be good either. So to kind of work with it, and then so that you can truly like have your body like feeling fully supported.
Sounds like a full-time work. Not only care for the baby, but also like make sure the equilibrium of all the everything in your body just like stays stable. So generation can happen.
Yeah, and that's why you need to have someone to honor you, to support you. Because you as a mother, your only job is to heal and bond with your baby. Ayurveda is very strong on that, like mothering the mother so that she can mother her baby. So me, when I go there, it's not to hold the baby, it's to let the mother bonding deeply with her baby, because the more bonding we have in the first 6 weeks, and the more successful, her motherhood and happiness with her baby will be, and the secure attachment to that baby. Baby needs mama, and if the mother is truly taken care of and feeling good, then she will be able to care. Be able to take care of her own baby. So that's why it's crucial. It's really crucial. It's not just like, oh, you go and here goes the food for you, and I will take baby away so that you can be resting. No, this is not that. This baby can rest with you, skins to skin, and you need to get to know your baby too. You need to get to know each other. And that goes also with, when I come in and you say, oh, what is that? Elimination communication,
learn the cues and all that.
Because babies actually are born to not want to pee and poop in their diapers, and they communicate. And it's actually a trauma for them to do that, because it goes deeper than just the physical. It's like, oh, you don't understand me, you don't understand my needs, so I don't trust myself, I don't trust you. You know, it's like, obviously it doesn't go like that, but like, you know, it's like what's happening. And so it affects your secure attachment to the baby.
I mean, I can see that. I've been fascinated, but there's a TV show, Big Bang Theory. I don't know if you heard of, but there's a woman who's a scientist in real life, and she plays a scientist on the show. But I heard like one of her interviews. She does elimination. What do you call it? Therapy. Communication. Yes. With her babies, and she said like, oh, it's not for everyone. It's definitely, you know, you have to be connected to the baby. It's not an easy way out. But when I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. I actually want to learn it.
Yes, and to be honest, I disagree with it's not for everyone, because it's very easy. It's very easy because you get to know your baby, and it brings such a deep bond between you and baby, and understanding that you know exactly what your baby needs, because it talks to you. It talks to you always, but we're always disconnected. We're disconnected with ourselves, we're disconnected with our children. But if you connect deeply with your baby with elimination communication, and also by giving Abhyanga, you can give baby Abhyanga to your baby with warm oil, and you are going to transform your relationship forever.
Wow.
And and actually it's not, so what I say is not difficult, because there is cues you can learn, but also each baby are different, and you are learning each other. So it's also learning to communicate with you. And once, I mean, I doing this with my baby, and it's, we go places, I'm not stuck at home, it doesn't mean like I have to be stuck at home. And no, he just let me know, and anywhere it happens. And this is very, life-changing relationship you have with your child.
Do you think like the baby also learns to like your cues, like maybe if you're tired, maybe they'll sleep a little longer? Is that a thing?
They're very deep connected with you, so they don't really know even like that different bodies. I believe they can, but more and more, so it's not that hard, because more and more they can even control. Like, we heard that they don't have any control of their bladder, but it's
not true.
Not true. No, they do actually. But if you see the history, with babies started to use diapers because the diaper company started to be
marketed as
yes. So it's like follow the money, right? Before babies were like all potty trained by 1 year, 18 months, and now the average is like 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yes.
I thought 2 is like impressive.
Yeah, these days it is.
Yeah.
But I know they can be potty trained way before, because they got to know their own body too.
Wow.
And they are trusting their own feelings, and they know, because imagine your son, you are with your caretaker, and you are saying, I really need to go potty, but they don't do anything. Then after a while, you are not even going to know you need to go potty, so you are kind of losing connection with with your body. So babies are losing connection with their own bodies and needs.
That's actually I'm like, I need to ask my mom about my childhood now. But recently, maybe it's a little TMI, but I always been able to like hold my my urine for like 10 hours longer. And I feel like it wasn't doing any good for my pelvic floor. So now I've been like trying to reconnect. I had a Dr. Krista on, and we talked about like letting yourself go to the bathroom when you want to. I'm like, wait, what? So I've been trying to do that, and I found that I have such a disconnect with my bladder, because I never listened to like, okay, it's like, I want to pee. I'm like, no, we don't need it right now. Like, I don't have time, And so I'm curious if it could be coming all the way from that.
I mean, most likely it does. Yes, for sure, because you were told to not trust your own body and feelings. So I was, raised like you too. And I kind of had that type of thing happening to me too. It was, disconnection, and we have been disconnected because of how we were raised. And, you know, it's not, I'm not pointing fingers of parents, you know.
They did their best. Yeah,
exactly. But it's just like, when you don't know, you don't know. And that's why I love bringing more awareness of all of this, because this is, it has such an impact. You know, us as parents, we have such an impact in our kids. And so we can either bring trauma or no. And so once you know this, then, you know, bringing more awareness of things. And it's never too late to start, even if your baby is like 6 months or 8 months. You can always.
Oh, really? I thought you have to start like no. Oh,
No,
wow.
you
Okay.
can always start. Yeah, it would take longer because they have been disconnected, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. You can start. It's never too late.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's promising.
yeah, it is. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah. That's very cool. I had a question, but I missed out on it. I mean, so yeah, we talked about Ayurvedic approach, and when you were talking about how do you say it? Abhiganda?
Oh, Abhyanga.
Abhyanga.
Yeah.
I actually remember I had a lot of Indian clients back when I lived in New York, and they were all telling me like, "Oh, I miss India so much. We have like these older community ladies who have this like herbal oil, and they come to you every day, massage you and the baby for 15 minutes, and it's like the most beautiful thing. And here in New York, it costs like $170." And I'm like, and that's when I learned that they have this approach. In Russia, we have it a little bit different. We have a nurse coming in from the hospital. They they do massage for the baby for like motor function.
Okay.
So it's not as healing and thoughtful. I think it's more like doing
more
this.
like Russian.
Yeah, more Russian approach. That's why we're all so angry all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that I guess America doesn't really have anything for postpartum recovery, right? Like I think I talked about it with someone. We learn so much about pregnancy. Like there's so many options. Do I do home birth? Do I do hospital? Do I need a doula? Do I need this? But then postpartum is just silence.
Yes. It is.
And I don't know if it's like a good thing or a bad thing, because at the same time, I feel like I don't want the healthcare attention on a postpartum, because they're just going to prescribe antidepressants. And
No. I know.
But at the same time, I feel like we need more resources for people to know about it.
Exactly. But like I say, you know, you don't need those, you know, pills for depression. It's just a simple protocol you have to follow. And then you won't even have to ever deal with my status. You know, and you need to, I mean, I've been through it. I've been through depression, so I know what it is. And
with your first?
With all of them, other than my fifth.
Got it.
But it you know, depression doesn't mean like deep depression or like it just simple of losing hair or my status. Oh, why am I having my
not
status?
Feeling good and
not feeling, you know, my best. I feel very exhausted but this is motherhood. You're a mother. You know, what do you expect? But that's not true. Actually, because now I have 5 kids and I feel like amazing. And my baby doesn't sleep through the night. I'm nursing my baby through the night, and I'm homeschooling my kids too. So it's
that's
not
amazing.
like
I'm planning to do that as well.
So it's not like my kid. You know, it's not like I can sleep all day with my baby. Like
I see what you mean. They're all home. Yeah,
they're home, and I am involved with them, and I honor mamas. So you know, it's
how do you have time to do all that? And I'm here complaining like I don't have time to do anything.
It's just organization and an amazing husband too.
Oh, we love Andrew.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. So he stays at home as well, right? So you guys
work
both
from
kind of like
home.
a teamwork.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So like when I need to go to see and honor mamas, is kind of holding the fort for me. Yeah. So it's very nice. But so it's just like being a mother doesn't mean you need to feel like crap all the time. Doesn't mean like you have to go through having terrible symptoms happening. And you know, you hear some mamas, they're happy like, oh, we give baby away so I can have some time off. But like actually, if you're feeling great and you're very deeply connected with your baby, you won't have that desire, because it just, our natural instinct is to be with our babies.
That's very interesting, because I feel like the majority of people feel more rested when baby is away.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's not...
Yeah. It doesn't sound natural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But guess, you know, like in our society, like everything that has been built to kind of separate the mother from the baby just by the birth, by having hospitals and, kind of disconnecting. Then the first step, you start having home birth and reconnecting with your baby like that. But then it's not the end. It's not only that.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to talk about frozen food. We can say,
yes.
can we prepare and frozen
Which a lot of people do. Yeah.
Yeah. And
you're like, I'm not a fan.
well, it's more than that. It's like, it's not going to rejuvenate you, so it's going to deplete you. So that no matter if you cook your meal, like the Ayurvedic way, for example, and you froze it, then it has an excess of vata anyways. And so...
Because it's been frozen.
Yes. Okay. And they change the composition. And so Ayurveda says you cannot eat frozen food. You are going to go to depletion if you do. Even if your meal was very rejuvenating, was nourishing, it won't
do what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. So I know it's kind of like, some mama gets very mad when I talk about it, but I'm like, I'm talking more on social media, when I do posts on this and say, why do I need, you cannot tell me I need to eat, like fast food, because I'm like, it's not what I'm saying. You have easy ways of you eating fresh food every day without having, to eat crap food. Like you need to eat, the proper diet with the proper food, but you have easy way of doing it. You don't have to, have a chef and be fancy and but you can have healing, and trust me, you will be forever grateful, because this is, we can say, a sacrifice for 42 days for the next 42 years. And
that's powerful.
Yes, it is. And why you think in our society we have so many trouble in our menopause?
Oh, you think it's connected? It is connected
it
to...
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a third rite of passage. So, rite of passage, sorry.
English is also my second language.
People will be like, oh my gosh, too many accents.
I know. They usually love it. So that's good. Yeah. So tell me, it's just fascinating. Is that also with the doshas, you mean? It's affecting your menopause? Because menopause, I assume, is the heat going up,
right? You have an excess of pitta for sure. I'm not an expert, I cannot go too in depth on this. But what I know is, if a mother go through rejuvenation and just follows the proper protocol during her postpartum, then she would have no issues for menopause. She won't have.
No issues, you mean like no hot flashes?
Like what we think, it's like, right now, like is the idea we have of menopause is like, you feel bad, you have a lot of hot flashes. That sounds terrible if you ask me, but it doesn't need to be that way if you were cared before, during your postpartum. So it's kind of like, that's why it's called the third rite of passage. The first one is when we get our periods. The second one is when we become a mother and go through postpartum. And the third one is our menopause.
And it's all like with the change of uterus? Is that what it's counted as?
It's a change of, hormones and everything. And so we have always an imbalance happening. But if we don't honor the first the little girl and then the mother and then the older woman, then, this is issues. But we have been taking away of our roots, and so we don't know. We're not, like I say, we're disconnected with ourselves, and so we don't know. And then we think just, taking supplements. But this is deeper than that. If you truly want healing in your body, then you need to take really seriously your postpartum. Like the healing of your postpartum, because this is kind of plant seeds for later on problems. Even if you think you feel great right now, what about in 2 years?
Yeah.
It's like, that sounds like a bad news.
Scared him into it.
No, but that's like, what about in 2 years and 5 years? Depression doesn't happen necessarily right away,
Yeah.
And you don't even know, but like, issues. Oh, and also not having your period back after birth. We think it's normal to have our period like, later a year after birth or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, a sign of rejuvenation is to have your periods within the first 2-3 months postpartum. I never had my period before a year until this as postpartum when I was.
Well, I think it's
caring.
believed they say usually like you can have a period come in later if you breastfeed.
Yeah, but it's actually because you were not.
Do you regenerate?
Yeah, because then you okay. So we have 7. It's called 7 datas in our body, which has 7 tissues.
Okay.
So we start with the skin, and then the last one is our reproductive system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like uterus, ovaries. So yeah. So if you don't, so it starts by feeding the first, and then it goes to the second, and then but like if it's not as nourishing, it will stop. And so the last one to be nourished will be your reproductive system. And so if you don't have the proper care, the proper diet, that's why we use a lot of ghee, because we use a lot of healing spices in the ghee. It's like kind of the trend to go like all over, I like to kind of get that image. Then your reproductive system won't be fully nourished. And so that's why you won't get your periods, because your body had to nourish other things before, but it was not fully rejuvenated. So that's why Ayurveda says for a mother, a sign that a mother is fully rejuvenated is having her period back.
So you say like normal 3 months?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This would be a sign that, you went through rejuvenation.
Wow.
Because all your tissues has been nourished up until your reproductive system.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, since we are on the subject of periods, you mentioned that the first rite of passage is when a girl gets her period, right? Yeah. So I'm curious, since a lot of my clients and I guess just in general Western culture, they put girls on birth control. I've thankfully never had it. Like I tried it once. I was crazy. So I'm like never doing that again. But I know like a couple of my American friends, they've been put in like 14 years old and they only got off of it like at 30 when they're ready to have kids. So I feel like birth control creates that disconnect with uterus as well, definitely. Right? Because we kind of force it to like, this is the period day.
Yes.
This is not. Yes. Like we tell you what to do. So how can we support young women, maybe with Ayurveda sophrology to establish that?
With body, yeah. Like, are you talking like how can we support women who have been disconnected, or?
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like sounds like majority of us are disconnected from period. Yeah, like we see it as inconvenience more than anything else, right?
Yes.
Where I think one of my friends, they said like, oh, it's a regeneration time. You like every month you're a new person, right? Because uterus it's a feminine energy. Yes. It's kind of like a driving force for life, and this is your chance. Yeah, this is your chance to start over every month. Yeah. But we see it as like, period.
It's my period. Yeah. Well, this is a Western way of seeing things. It's and that's why. Those young girls, when they get their period, I remember for me, when I told my mom I had my period, she just said, it's
same.
Like, yeah. So I feel like a little shame.
Like, damn, I need to buy tampons.
Yeah, exactly. So how can we have a beautiful connection and beautiful relationship with our body at that point? We feel like, I'm a little disgusted, like you don't feel like connected anymore, and instead of you should be honoring I have 3 daughters, so I'm excited to honor them, because I'm not going to be just like, no, this is a time of connection, and like you said, like doing sophrology, not seeing this as bad, but actually that this is actually we bring life, and this is a part of being a woman. This is your transition to womanhood, and so it's every time when you think about the rite of passage, it's every time a transition to something. So it's like a transition to womanhood, and then motherhood, and then
grandmahood.
Yeah. so then I guess grandmahood.
Oh, wise womanhood.
Yeah, maybe I like that. Yeah, like you're in a new era of your life. You're not anymore a woman who can reproduce, but you are in another era. So it just, you celebrate those passages by reconnecting and healing. Basically, I feel like as women, we got so blessed to be able to, we have opportunities to really heal deeply.
Yeah.
Really, like, whether it's like psychology or physically. But if we don't, then we can then really feel bad, because it's, it's either like you feel amazing or you don't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is when issues happen. And especially as, a young girl that go through, like periods. And so you go through a crisis of maturation, that you are not a baby anymore. You become like you're on your way of becoming an adult. And so it has psychologically a lot of things happening,
Like
it's
kind of
like
out of comfort zone.
and it's like in the unconscious, things happening too, like, during pregnancy, things, it's like you have those moments where you have opportunities to have access to things you never had before. And so that's why adolescents, we think like kids are getting, like kind of rushed because they have more access to things that they didn't before. So we need to support them.
Yeah. So would you say, like, we talked about that veil between subconscious and conscious during pregnancy becoming thinner. That's where you have like a lot of triggers, and that's also your opportunity to heal.
Yes.
So it happens also the other two rite of passages, I guess, right? As well, you kind of have like a thinner.
Yes, it's like
veil.
like a thinner. I believe the biggest change you can have is still during pregnancy.
Okay, so that's like the biggest shift. And
biggest shift in your life.
How would you say, what would you tips or advices would be for people who are pregnant right now and they have that thinner veil? Like, what can they do to help themselves to work through the triggers, to maybe heal some trauma while they're at it?
Yeah. It's healing. It's not just like one thing and done, right? It's more complicated than that. I wish we could do like, be good.
I wish too.
But it's not. And I guess it's part of the process. But first, it's just to kind of like, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad having those emotions happening. Don't feel like something wrong with you. First, like acknowledging like, oh, it's because I'm going through so many changes right now. And I have access to... I'm just smiling because my husband knows all of that. So every time I was pregnant and he knew like things was happening, he's like, honey, it's because you're having this transparency happening. And he was like supporting me. And so, so it was very,
Did it irritate you, or you like, oh,
no.
this is so helpful?
No, because I was like really like had some like type of, very sad feelings coming into me. Like, I would not say depression because it's very strong, but like, like kind of feeling like things like, I was like feeling weird, like something's happening, and it was like
not feeling super happy. Like,
yes,
like,
exactly. Like what's happening, I mean, I knew, I guess, but like having someone bringing this awareness to my own feelings. And then he said, okay, let's practice sophrology. Let's do it. And so, I'm bringing, and then I was like, okay, like bringing like healing to myself. Yeah, it was, so like really reconnecting with who you are. It's important. But like having, conversation with your partner, your husband, like saying, hey, maybe now when you talk to me, I start crying, but this is because of that. Like, this is because I have my censorship being like kind of like thinner, so I can have more access of my personal trauma. And so it's not because I'm more, emotional, more sensitive. It's truly because you see the transformation, like you see my body growing, but in my mind it's same, you have a lot of things going on. And so it's hard for people to really understand. And so that's why pregnant mamas, we feel like most of the time, misunderstood, because they, come on, be happy, you have life inside, and you're like, but why I don't feel happy? What's happening? It's deeper than that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good for people to know, because I had so many, I remember mamas, especially in New York, who had like very difficult pregnancies or very difficult labor stories, and they would come in and they would just start crying as soon as I touch them, and they're like, I'm such a bad mom. I don't feel the joy, I don't feel the happiness. But it might be, as you said, just transformation that they don't know they're supposed to go through and not adjust but work through, I guess. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see, if those mama were able to really, reconnect within during pregnancies, they would not have this happening afterwards. Because it's like, it's deep thought that can really come and parasites ourselves and parasites the relationship that we have with our baby, even if we don't. And that always makes me so sad, when I hear stories like this. And but it's never too late. I'm always saying, and even like if you went to depletion, if you didn't, have this protocol for your first 6 weeks, I always say it's never too late to heal your body. Like you,
even after,
especially within the first year, if, you can kind of recreate your 42 days, kind of like bring healing with the diet, the oil, and all of those things. I teach mama to do their own self-abhyanga. It's not as effective obviously that someone else doing it, but it still has so much power in it, a healing power. So like you have so many things you can do to still actually I took care of a mother. She was I think like 6 months postpartum, and she had a very difficult and traumatic birth, and her postpartum when she was not honored and she didn't go through origination, and just taking care of her even at 6 months, it still made a huge impact.
How did you guys connect, since she was already 6 months? She just like thought she looked for help?
Well, no, it was through social media. I think I did a video, I think, with a PT at the time, and then she saw and she was
like, I need that.
Exactly. She fell, and then she asked me if it was too late. I'm like, no, it's not. And processing, because the part of being there, it's also the mental aspect and emotional, and I use also my knowledge of past psychologists. I don't say I'm using my I don't do therapy, but like I have kind of listening ears, and I help process things, and sophrology and things like that. So and honoring mothers who had miscarriage as well. When you have miscarriage, your body still go through postpartum.
Yeah.
So you
and as well as grief.
Yeah. And on top of it, you have the emotional aspect, which bring excess of vata. So so that's why you.
Oh wow, I never even thought that it would be considered, because we usually like miscarriage, right? Like happen, you just hide it from everyone and that's it. But treating it like postpartum, actually like healing your body, that I feel like that would be very powerful.
Yes, you need to heal your body and your mind, reconnect. Like when sophrology is so impactful during that time, because you can really reconnect your mind and body, and just letting yourself to feel your emotions. I care for a mama who lost her baby 20 weeks pregnant, and this was the most profound and difficult time, but I was really feeling so honored to be there for her. I must say, really, I was crying afterwards, because I was like absorbing everything for her, and I was more than I mean, I don't want to say happy, but I was like, I was here for that, and I wanted to be there, but just allowing her to feel how she felt, never shaming her for feeling how she felt, but healing deeply her body with nourishing meals, with abhyanga, the oil therapy, with sophrology, and letting her being herself and allowing her this space to be herself was very profound. And this is what I say to mamas who have, because I have sometime mamas coming to me after miscarriage and messaging me, and they ask me, I had a miscarriage, and I'm like, this is the time actually you need more than ever to be honored, you need more than ever to care for your body. It's not just like, you had a miscarriage and you don't need to do anything, no, because your body still goes through postpartum.
Yeah.
And so you still need this healing time.
Why is this not wide known? That's so crazy.
I know. That's why I'm like trying to so much, talk about it. I'm like, I'm kind of disgusted how the Western way of, helping mothers, we can do so much better.
Yeah.
And that's why we have mothers and kids disconnected later on, because they just simply
didn't go through it.
Yes. And that's why actually I did, I talked to you about the guide I created for me, and I created for other mothers, because
you have it?
Yes.
Oh my God. Tell us more. Yeah, we'll promote it here. I'm sure people would love to learn about it.
So it's I created on a platform, and you can have access on your phone, like on an app or things, and you have all the recipes you have by days, and what exactly the spices and everything. I go through like really to tell the mother what's happening, and so like why we do things. And then it's very simple, but this is not for mother. This is for anyone who can support a mother. It can be your husband, it can be your friend, it can be your mother. Anyone can cook for a mother.
Yeah.
It's a blueprint of your healing.
It's amazing.
So I said, and I was like, man, I created that. Like, I want to spread the word, and like,
for sure,
it's okay if you don't have an Ayurvedic doula close by. It's expensive to an Ayurvedic doula, in person.
How much is it? I'm just curious.
It really depends where you live. Like, it can be
where you live in the country.
Like, I mean, it's just like, because you don't have access in every cities. Like, I think here in Austin, we have not many.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
actually, you're right, bro. I only know 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. I think I know. I know 2 others. And one
and
that
you.
and me, and actually this is, this is because we cannot go, we have to have that price, because we have a lot of prep.
Tell me the price.
I don't know.
Oh, how much do you charge?
You want me to know?
Yeah.
You want me to say?
If that's not a secret.
It's like,
you can tell me the range.
Yeah. It's just like, okay. So for my mamas, I charge per day.
Okay.
And depending on what they want. So like, it's $350 a day. But for my birth mamas, it's $300 a day. I do a little discount if you want my birth, want me at the birth, and because I do birth, I'm also a birth doula.
Wow,
that I use.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, that's
and
amazing.
Doing
so
birth
kind
preparation.
of if you just go through the whole process with you, it's a little different. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it's it's kind of. This is but it's my precedent. I know everyone kind of do different, so depending on but this is because we have so much prep to do. We have so much herbs and oil, and this is
I
not
feel like it's a
just
fair price, considering, again, as you said, like 42 days for the 42 years of your life.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And you stay between 3 to 5 hours. Usually it's more 5 hours. I never stay 3 hours. Like I always so much to do, and the massages, like it's the oil therapy you put on the body, and all of this is and teaching Abhyanga for the babies, and this is
that's cool.
So this is amazing. But so not everyone can afford that, and I don't believe that only mamas who can afford this just deserve to go through rejuvenation. So I wanted to bring a healing to every mamas. And I was that mama who couldn't, like in my life, like I couldn't afford that. So I'm like, this is, not fair. So it's kind of like, my upbringing to like bring healing. This is really a dream to bring healing to as many mamas as possible. And so, and I, teach you how to do your Abhyanga, and I teach you how to do the Ayurvedic belly binding, the DIY belly binding.
It's all in that. Is that a document?
It's it's like an app, Mighty. I don't know.
Like you just do it on your phone. You look through videos.
Yeah, videos and
very
writing,
cool.
right? Yeah, and so and my husband is what he did. He did follow. And actually it was very nice to know, like, is it easy to follow? Like, he was like giving me like some feedback so that I understand and kind of improve things too, because it's kind of a learning process for me. But it's possible, and having some sophrology session to kind of help the mother to be able to reset because sometimes we feel like mothers have a hard time to rest. And because they kind of feel like, I need to start doing things because they are disconnected if they feel this way. So like helping them, to reconnect, to ground. And I did create also like a EC kind of a type guide for EC, elimination communication, to help mamas, because my goal is not only to bring mama to rejuvenation, but also to bring mama to a beautiful relationship with our baby. And so teaching Abhyanga and EC, it's a big part of it too.
Whoa, I didn't know you have that. Wait, can we link it below then so people can?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. So guys, we'll link the platform, I guess, or the access to it below, as well as Chloe's socials. Definitely follow her. And you can also, I guess, DM her, ask a bunch of questions if you want.
Yeah, love answering questions.
Well, I think that was such a beautiful conversation. I actually got way more out of it than I expected. Some very, very cool insights. So, yeah, I just want to thank you.
Thank you so
I feel
much.
like it's been such incredible, information. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chloe. What am I looking at? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chloe. We're going to, again, link everything below. Please follow this channel, follow Chloe's social, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yay.